Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
And we're going back to Texas this week.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Oh, Heather Kylen, recruiter for Atlas, brought us a number of Texas beers last time she was here. And this one, I wasn't real excited about it because there's nothing super special. It's just a Pilsner.
Yeah.
But Southern Star Brewing Company Spring Pils is the beer this week. And I say I wasn't excited just because, just in general, it's a Pilsner. And I thought, well, how great could this really be? Then I started doing my research.
Oh, boy.
And I want to go to Conroe, Texas, and visit this brewery now.
Wow. This is just always how it goes.
Always.
I'm excited because it's a kind of a back to the basics sort of beer style. So this isn't something I normally would be into. But I'll tell you what, this is like a kind of a growing movement in craft is now like Pilsners. Like people are coming back around to them, which is so strange. But
that's something that I had a conversation with Bobby Cross a while back, and he said if brewers, some guys can brew anything, right? I mean, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But it takes some serious skill to make a clean Pilsner.
You cannot have any mistakes.
Right.
There's no hiding. You're not dumping raspberry puree on top of it or
That's
whatever.
exactly what I was.
If you don't do it right, everybody will know.
Yep.
So it's probably one of the toughest things to do.
So let's get into this thing. Southern Star Brewing Company Spring Pils. It's not quite spring anymore, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, spring and summer.
So close to that.
Around here, I mean, last night I had the air conditioner on at my house because it was like 82 in the house.
Yeah.
And then this morning when I woke up, it was like 49 degrees outside. So who knows where we're at.
I'm going to try to mow tonight, I think.
I am too.
In the 70s. Should be nice.
Should be great.
Should be great. So first thing I notice is a little bubbly, a little bit.
You can totally see through it.
Absolutely see through it. But it's not super light. It's not like Busch Light.
Busch Light. No, it is not. It is not like that.
No, not at all. But
I'm going to smell it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that smells like a Pilsner.
It smells like a beer. Like I would think this has that smell like when I smelled my dad's beer for the first time. Right? That's what this smells like. This has the definite beer smell.
Yeah, it has that. It smells like grain, which is what you want.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Cool.
Clean.
Let's give it a shot.
Not bitter. That's you can drink a lot of those.
Yep. I mean, that is great for being hot. If it was hot outside.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mowing the lawn beer afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
What's the ABV on
it's
this?
It's like 5.5, I think I saw.
5.3.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Not bad.
So just a little bit more than a regular, whatever domestic that you might have in your garage fridge. But
a little more of that, a lot more flavor.
Yeah. So
hit me with the reason you want to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
This, of course, I just fell in love with the story and the dude and the place and all over. I mean, just good business story. Kind of mirrors mine maybe a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Where he graduated from college, I didn't. But
did he teach yo-yo to kids?
He might have. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see.
One of these days, I'm going to get you to yo-yo for real. How's that?
Maybe.
Dave. Oh gosh, Fogeron. Sorry, Dave. Fogeron. Whatever.
Go with that.
There we go. Started home brewing in 1994 while he was at Texas A&M. Graduated in 97 and took a job at St. Arnold Brewing Company and thought, this is going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life or whatever. And then once he was brewing there, I believe he moved all the way up to head brewmaster there and started wanting to do things on his own. And since he was home brewing, he thought, well, I could try this or whatever, but it was their brewery, not his.
Right, yeah.
So he would call his dad and tell his dad about it. His dad's like, why don't you start your own? He's like, I don't know how to do that. There's no way I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So it was kind of that self-confidence thing, kind of like what I struggled with. Like, I always thought I wanted to do this on my own, and then, but then you never think you could.
Right.
And then, so he started to brew some of his stuff on his own and then go to competitions and whatever. Well, conflict of interest, and they fired him. So he called his dad, and he's like, hey, bad news, I got fired. And his dad's like, bad news? What the hell?
That's great news.
We're going to do our own thing now.
Wow.
Let's go. And he's like, okay, fine. Let's do it. And so in, let's see, when was it? 2007, he started Southern Star Brewing Company. And his dad was there to help him along the way. helped cut the pipes and do everything to to build that first brew house.
Wow, that's cool. I noticed, I was reading through, they had like some employee profiles on their website, and a couple of them came from that other brewery you were talking about.
From St. Arnold, yeah.
Maybe it was one of those Jerry Maguire
Who's coming with me
moments, and maybe somebody actually came.
The Goldfish and what's her name?
Renee Zellweger. She showed up.
Yeah.
Cool.
You had me at hello. Southern Star Brewing, 3525 North Fraser Street in Conroe, Texas. I thought this was interesting. They were the first craft brewery to can beer in Texas.
You know how I knew that?
How?
It says so right on the can.
On the can.
First to can craft.
Damn proud of that.
Well, I would be, yeah.
That's cool.
It's like that first brewery in Wyoming.
Yeah.
What we talked about last time.
So open Monday through Wednesday. They're closed for private events. Thursday and Friday 4 to 10. Saturday noon to 10. Sunday noon to 6. And this place that they moved into this brewery, this 13.5 acre kind of footprint in 2016, went from a 15 barrel brew house to a 60 barrel brew house. It's a beast. This thing is huge.
My math says that's 4 times as much.
I believe that is correct.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty good growth.
They have like outdoor events all weekend, very dog and kid friendly. They have like a farmer's market. They built a full-time stage outside. So on Fridays
cool.
They have bands come in. Thursdays are trivia nights there in the tap house itself. And so it just looks like, it reminds me a lot of Avery. If you've ever been to Avery in Colorado.
Yeah.
About the same size, about the same kind of feel, that outdoor feel, dogs, kids, playing bags.
I think what I like about a lot of these breweries and a lot of stories that we hear is it's kind of small town-y, right? So it's like the cultural center of the town.
Yep.
Like everything's happening here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like I was seeing on their website, I read about they're having a barbecue competition there.
Sweet.
And they're using the Kansas City Barbecue Society rules, which they made a big deal about.
Yeah.
And you've got to do ribs, pork butt, shoulder, chicken, and brisket. So you got to do this. It's a fundraiser. You put in your money, and then it goes to, I think it was like a food bank or something like that.
Sweet.
Then they have like trivia night I saw. They had karaoke stuff. They had, what was the other thing? There was one other big event that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, car show. They have a sponsored car show.
Sweet.
So it's just like everything around there. Conroe proper is pretty small.
Yeah, how big is Conroe? Do you know?
Well, I found out.
Okay.
It's close to, it's about 30 miles north of Houston is where we're talking in Texas.
Okay.
The town itself, started out in like the 90s, I think, around 56,000. And then 6 years later, it was 86,000.
Wow.
It was one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. And it's hanging close to around there. But the Commonwealth proper is like 250,000 people. So some other suburbs of Houston and stuff. So it's decent size, but not huge by any means.
Was Houston the catalyst for its growth then? Is that why?
I think what it really was, back in the day, it grew quite a bit because of oil and lumber. They're right on the edge of a big pine forest down there.
Okay.
And the kind of tree, I wanted to write it down because it's fun to say. Loblolly.
What?
Loblolly pine trees.
Loblolly.
That's the kind of trees that they cut down there. And in the 1930s, there were more millionaires per capita in Conroe, Texas than anywhere else in the United States. Isn't that weird?
How is that?
Just because of oil and lumber. They're like oil and lumber barons for a little bit.
That's interesting.
Yeah, in the middle of the Depression. That's where it was.
Huh.
Let's see. The other thing, now, I was like, well, who's working? Where are they working? I've never really heard of Conroe, Texas.
Right.
And just like 7,200 people work for the school district. The county has like 2,000. There's a hospital, Conroe Regional Medical Center.
Which we have staffed a lot of nurses there.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there's 1,200 people working there.
Yep.
And then the bottom three, there's an auto dealership, Lowe's, and a Walmart make up the rest of it, 300 people. So still small stats.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it does have that, from what I could tell, it's kind of a small town.
Kind of a big small town
Yeah.
kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I suppose if you don't want to live necessarily in Houston. But
Right. But you want to be close to some stuff?
Yeah. Then Conroe would be the place.
Let's see. So I was kind of previewing this I led up to it in an email today. I was like, oh man,
I was excited for this. Yeah.
I am stoked for this.
All right.
Because I was like, what's the angle? I looked at some of my normal jumping off points, like famous people. And there was like some unknown baseball players and BMX riders. And I was like, well, I don't know. Whatever.
That's kind of boring. Yeah.
So I started looking at the beer names on here, right?
Yes.
And so the first one that pops up, I Am Brute.
I'm
had a can with a mixtape on it. It says, I Am Brute.
I Am Brute.
Brute IPA. I was like, okay, cool. Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that.
Heather, if you are listening to this, I'm going to need that.
We're going to need that.
Can you send that to us, please?
I Am Brute.
I Am Brute.
Yeah.
Not only is that, no secret, my favorite style of IPA right now, I do enjoy me some Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it has that great, like, aqua blue, pink, green, neon green color scheme. That looks pretty cool.
Sweet.
They have a pumpkin beer called the Cygord. It was like a robot with a pumpkin.
Yes.
Subatomica was a juicy IPA. They had a bunch of different IPAs on.
Huh.
This is where it got me, and this is where I jumped off the diving board.
Yes.
It's like I just needed that little push.
As if I Am Brute is not enough.
I mean, that was great.
Okay.
But then I thought for conversation,
Yeah.
especially if we're sitting in a tap room or something like that, Conspiracy Theory, West Coast IPA.
Oh, I love
Conspiracy
this.
theories. I was like,
I love
let's
it.
get into it. Let's
Yes.
get dirty. So,
I love it.
what I did a little research
Okay.
about some common ones, some of the biggest ones around.
Yep.
I stayed out of politics. I didn't want to have a fight.
So no JFK?
Well, it's not. I mean, that's not.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Okay.
That's a long time ago.
Gotcha.
Current politics.
Okay.
And then I just wrote down a whole bunch of them, and I'm just going to drop them out here. You tell me what you know, what you don't know. Maybe we can hear from our other person. You want to introduce who we got today?
Yeah,
in the room?
so Dolan is not here. Dolan's off doing a site visit. So Sammy's with us today.
That's right.
Running the Zoom for us. I don't think did your mic work? It doesn't. It does not work.
See,
no.
Dolan sabotaged it.
He did.
I know he did. That's just
bastard.
how he is.
He wants to be the producer guy. He doesn't want anybody
I know.
else to get
He's
the glory.
he's afraid of the shine. Someone's going to have the shine.
Yep.
So what we got. Oh, and also Conroe is named after a Union soldier. That was the guy. He founded a sawmill back in 1881.
A Union soldier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cavalry soldier.
Okay.
Came on down, set up the town. That's who it's named after.
All right.
All right. So I wanted to write down, and I think I did. Oh, yeah. Okay. What exactly a conspiracy theory is or what it means.
Okay.
And I want to just talk about it in general because to me, I'm going to put a disclaimer.
Yep.
These are my opinions. These
Sure.
do not reflect Atlas in any sort of way, right?
Absolutely.
At least 50% of people in the United States believe in at least one conspiracy theory a year.
I think that stat's way low.
Do you really?
Oh man.
It just makes me so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand if it's escapism.
Yeah.
If it's, I feel like I like to be contrarian on purpose. A lot of times I will take the opposite stance just to like rile people up. I get that.
Sure.
But I'm also intelligent enough to be like, well, I can't actually believe in this. I can't actually think the earth is flat.
Oh, the flat earthers.
And I didn't even put that on the list.
Oh, my
because that's just bogus.
Dude, I found. I don't even want to get. This is such a tangent. So a dude that was like super popular in school.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, a couple years older than me, like super popular. Turns out, like he's a flat earther.
Yeah.
And he's all over Facebook with it now. I'm like, man, you're for real. Really?
You want to name drop him or no? You're
Nah,
good. Okay.
he doesn't listen to this. His name's Chad Preston. And here's the thing, Chad, brother. I don't know.
It's round, bro.
It's round.
We've been to space. We proved it.
Oh gosh! Didn't you post a thing the other day where like if the Earth was flat, then cats would have knocked everything off the Earth already?
Already what happened.
Because cats are assholes and they
they
knock stuff
love
off
to
the
do
table.
that, man.
Yeah.
If they
So
see an edge, they're gonna push it.
yep.
Conspiracy theory: an explanation that makes reference to hidden, malevolent forces seeking to advance some nefarious claim.
Oh.
So that's what it is. A conspiracy theory. It's not alternative, whatever. It's basically you believe somebody is a puppet master.
Yes.
And these events are happening because somebody or some group caused them to happen. That's what they come down to.
Because Cancer Man is running the black government, and
Right.
Mulder and Scully have to figure it out.
Well, you're not far off. There's actually one like that in here. So, some of the other things, I was reading an article about it because one came out in May 29th, and I was reading
Of
it
this
today.
year?
Yeah, so it was
Okay.
like just talking about why they're prevalent nowadays in the culture of people and stuff.
Yep.
And they said they don't have to be untrue. They just need to contradict the usual accepted version of events. So it hasn't have to be that. And then people just want to have their beliefs validated.
Sure.
And if one of your beliefs ever, because some of them were like, oh, now with science and stuff, we can actually prove why these things happen,
Sure. Right.
And that makes people feel good. So they like want to be on that.
Like with science, we've proven that the Earth is round.
Well, if you believe that, and that's the crazy part, and that's what I was some of these I was reading, and I was like, what?
All right.
And the other thing about these, researcher was saying they're basically mental shortcuts people take. So they don't want to read all the research and do all the stuff. They just want to be like, oh, I connected this dot to this dot. There's a pattern here.
Yep.
And this is why this happens. And that's really what it is. It's just short thinking. People don't like to think anymore. So the first one, Illuminati. Jay-Z, man, he's in it, right? That's what I heard.
What was the line from So I Married an Axe Murderer? Remember it was the Colonel and the Pope and the
KFC Colonel?
The KFC Colonel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I buy that.
You never watched So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Not since like 1989 when it came out.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Heed, Pence.
It was like the first time he used the fat bastard voice.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Which became Shrek later on. Moon landing. Hey, man, we never landed on the moon.
Oh, for crying out loud.
It was staged.
You
know who it was staged by? Stanley Kubrick. That's what some people believe that.
Really?
Yeah, we never went. And all that stuff was filmed by Stanley Kubrick because he was doing 2001 Space Odyssey. And people have proven this to be true because of what he did in The Shining. There's all these tells in The Shining that show he faked the moon landing. And there's a documentary on it called Room 237.
No.
I've watched it.
What?
You know where they basically are coming up with this?
Okay.
The kid's name, Danny.
Danny.
In one scene, he's wearing a sweater that has a space shuttle on it that says USA.
Okay.
And that's where they're like, oh, see?
There it is.
He faked the moon landing.
Totally.
So that's one. I was like, what? I mean, this one, I didn't even want to write it down. I was just like, no one believes this. If you do, you're seriously, I don't know. I don't even want to, these make me so angry.
Okay.
Lizard people, reptilians.
Like visitors? Like V? Remember the old TV show?
Yes, like that.
No.
They are here. And they are not only here, they're in the top level of our government, Rich. They are there are senators, our representatives, maybe the president. We don't know. But they're alien, reptilian people, and they are here, and they're controlling things on purpose to move their agenda forward.
And they're going to harvest us like food eventually.
Yeah.
Food.
Why they don't just kill us all, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, that's something actual people believe.
Oh, my gosh.
And then you talked about a couple of these, JFK, multiple shooter.
Sure.
That one's at least interesting.
Okay, so I kind of believe that one.
Multiple shooters?
I believe the shooter it was not Lee Harvey Oswald. 100%.
Wow.
I actually, in high school, I had a speech about it in forensics class. Forensics, like the competitive acting.
Talking, yeah.
Yes. Went to state and nationals with my JFK conspiracy theory.
Wow.
All driven by what's his name? Oliver Stone and
that movie. Yeah. That was a good movie.
It was such a good movie. It was so good.
Wow.
But I do believe in that. I do. Now, who did it? I don't know. Why they did it? I don't know.
People say it was the FBI. People say it was the mob. People say it was all sorts of things.
The Cubans.
Castro.
Yeah.
Fidel Castro was behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's at least interesting because there's some footage and some other stuff and some eyewitness testimony, but
there's too much weirdness around it.
Like maybe he just got lucky with his shot. Have you read the Stephen King book about it?
No.
Oh, so good.
Is
or
it
the
good?
TV show?
No.
James Franco. It's pretty good.
I mean, it just comes down to he's using the shittiest rifle he possibly could from too far away. The tree was in the way. There's just no way.
The magic bullet, man.
And then the bullet came. It had entry wounds. We understand science. I mean, entry wounds. It didn't come. If you come through the front of your head, the entry wound's in the back, and it's much larger. Not vice versa. Anyway, so there you go.
See, conspiracy theories.
I don't.
So there's one for you. Check it.
There
Click. Martin Luther King also around the same time. They believed it was a hit, not just a one racist guy, but it was like the FBI and a couple other groups. The FDA can and has cured cancer. They know how to do it.
The Food and Drug Administration.
Sammy's all over this.
All of a sudden, Sammy's.
I've heard that one.
But
Really?
they choose not to.
The Food and Drug Administration has cured cancer.
Yeah, but they won't release that cure because it would kill all these businesses and all the pharmaceutical companies, and they're paying all this money to keep it quiet.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't know that I believe that, but
Sure.
if that came out to be true, I would
Yep.
I would be like, let me show you my shocked face. That would be about what that
There you
goes.
go.
Chemtrails. Oh man, chemicals in the sky
boy.
coming from the airplanes.
Yep.
Or are they just contrails, just vapor in the air, in the atmosphere?
It's just vapor.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Area 51.
100%. I mean, I watched the X-Files. That's
I mean, that's a documentary, basically.
totally. Mulder and Scully are real.
The government secrets, man.
Yeah.
Did they crash a UFO? Did they take that into the base? Did they get the technology? Have they made interstellar vehicles and travel possible?
Here's the thing. Like, we were kind of stagnant in our development, like technology development for a while. And then Area 51 happened. And then all of a sudden we had fiber optic technology. So you figure that... I don't know.
I can't hardly run a modem, so I can't figure out fiber technology.
I would buy into Area 51.
Here's one that I threw in because I'm kind of a book nerd and I like this story.
Okay.
They say Truman Capote, not Harper Lee, wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. They were childhood friends from Alabama. He wrote a bunch of stuff that was very popular and famous, and she wrote only one other book in her lifetime.
Really?
That's what they say.
Huh.
And then there is a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird that has her name on it, and that was published. And then after she died, her family was like, we never wanted that published. She didn't want it published. Somebody took advantage of her like dementia state and got her to agree to release that book.
Really?
Yeah. I have it. I've never read it. Because once I found that out, once I read that they didn't like it, I was like, no.
What was it called? I don't know.
I can't even remember. I have it as a hardback. It's on the bookshelf at home. But
Interesting.
that was probably my favorite book of all time. Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is one we haven't heard of, but it's weird how people's minds work. Okay. There was a kid in I think it was the late 80s or early 80s. It must have been early 80s. Johnny Gosch.
Gosh.
Yeah, his name was Gosch, and he was 12 years old. He was kidnapped in Des Moines.
Okay.
And his picture, he was one of the first kids to be on the milk carton. Was missing.
This sounds familiar.
And it was in Des Moines, and they never found him. And there's all these theories about what happened to him. Was he kidnapped, and was he part of that? Because there was such a thing in Nebraska. There was like a child sex ring happening in the 80s.
Oh.
And that was like a real thing. Like some major prominent businessmen were arrested for it.
Whoa.
And it actually shows up in True Detective Season 3 that just came out on HBO this year.
Oh.
They talk about that case just a little bit in that show.
Interesting.
His mom, this kid's mom, later on in life, like in the 2000s, says, he came to my house with his captor, showed up and said, hey, I'm okay, Mom, but I can't stay here. I got to go.
What?
And left.
And the mom's just like, okay, see you later.
And she's like, oh, don't leave, blah, blah, blah. And they could never prove any of that. So they never showed up. And then also it said he ended up being, there was somebody that worked in the White House, like the press secretary or something that looked kind of like him. And they're like, that was him. That's him.
Johnny Gosch.
This one was crazy. Mattress Firm. The company?
Yes.
How come there's so many of them around? Why are there so many mattress companies? Why you only buy a mattress every 10 years? Why are there so many of these businesses? Why is it in Chicago there was like 50 of these locations some of them within a half a mile of each other? Mattress Firm. What you doing? Guess what they're doing? Allegedly laundering money.
Okay.
They're laundering money, Rich. For what?
In the mattresses?
I don't even think there was mattresses. I think it was just a storefront set up to launder money.
Anything's possible in Chicago. Anything's possible.
But that's across the country. But that was just the example I saw.
Well, I mean, they're fixing elections. They're, dead people are voting.
Dead people can vote.
Right.
But that was, to be fair, like 10 years ago.
It wasn't that long. Yeah. It's been happening for a while.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Lots and lots of dead people have voted there.
This
over the
one
years.
is scientifically true, but yet it's not. If that makes any sense, I'll tease it. Here it is. There's a huge volcano underneath Yellowstone.
Okay.
I mean, that's why there's hot springs. That's why there's geysers. That's why that's happening. The
Old,
last time
Old Faithful.
yeah, that's the last time this volcano erupted was 630,000 years ago.
Oh, okay.
If you believe the Earth's that old.
Well,
Yeah, that was
where's
facetious me. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it a conspiracy theory.
okay?
There's people out there that believe the government and the scientists, the people that study earthquakes and volcanoes, know when it's going to erupt, and they're just not telling us.
How do they know?
Because they're scientists, man. We can't understand a scientist's brain. We just know that they know when it's going to explode.
So we're at,
Kill us all, but they don't care.
so if all of a sudden they leave,
Yeah.
then we know. Well, that's it.
They said this volcano is so big that if it does explode, it would take out the entire continent, basically.
Oh, okay.
So it's a end of times situation.
So go see Yellowstone now before it gets blown up.
yes, do that. Mm-hmm. You'll be impressed. Yellowstone's beautiful.
Okay.
Be a great last thing to see.
Yeah. Well,
Here's one that I was like, there's no way this is real. And then I found out it is real to an extent. There is a room behind Abraham Lincoln's head in South Dakota.
no.
Up in, what do you call it? What's Mount Rushmore?
In the big heads.
There is. It's real.
No.
It's real. It is 100% legit. There is a big room carved in the back of his head. And the reason it was there, the reason there's a room, and it is true.
Okay.
This part is true. It's
Okay.
been verified by actual sources, like
People
the
have
U.S.
gone.
government.
People have gone in there.
Yes.
Okay.
There's photos online.
Okay.
The guy that designed it, I can't remember what his name is off the top of my
Borglum?
head. Yes.
Yep.
He wanted this to be a depository of famous documents. Like this was going to be the place where we kept, no joke, the Declaration of Independence,
This is
the Constitution.
This is a Nicolas Cage movie.
Right. This is where the idea came from. This is where those little kernels of truth were planted.
Where he sticks his hand between the rocks and then he opens the
looks in there.
secret door
Yeah.
or whatever.
There's no secret door. The door is huge, but there's no way you can open it because it's like in granite and it weighs like 15 tons. Like you're not getting in.
Okay.
And also it's guarded.
Sure.
But it's huge. But what he wanted was to have actual copies of these documents in there, and it was going to be called like the League of, or the Hall of Information, or the Hall of whatever. And it was going to have like the government stuff, all these documents and stuff. Were going to be housed here.
Okay.
And he was going to have a big gold eagle, 38 feet across, was supposed to be in there, and it was going to be these big descending stairs, kind of like a Mason sort of situation.
Sure.
Is kind of what it sounded like to me when I was reading about it.
Yeah.
But he died before it could be done.
Yeah.
Well, somewhere along the line, they did put those documents in there, copies of those documents, but they're carved in granite slabs.
Okay.
And they're just like on the walls. So those documents are in there. They're not paper documents. They're not copies or the real thing.
Sure.
But the information is there and it's stored in there. And I've seen pictures online, actual like from the government website, photos, like not someone's,
Yeah.
camera phone.
Like someone's with an iPhone sneaking in there or
And
whatever.
it's just documented but it's all like carved out. So it's not elaborate or intricate, or it's not even decorated or anything like that. It's just
Wow.
some stuff on the wall. And there's a box that has a little story about him, the guy that built the thing or
Sure.
designed it, and his life story and a couple other things. And it's just in this room.
I had no idea.
More of a present to him, basically, of like, okay, we're trying to fulfill your vision for this thing.
Sure.
And
We're not
that's-
putting the actual documents
right.
there, but
yeah,
right.
good luck on that. But that one I was like, what?
But
No
you
way.
can't go in there.
No, you cannot go in. You can't get up there. You can't go up on the.
You can hike all around in there,
I
but
don't think you can get up on the back of the face of the Abraham Lincoln.
True.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Nick Cage did.
Who
but
lives up there?
Who lives? Kristen Begeman.
We'll send her. We'll send her up there and see what she can find out.
And then she can bring some more beer back from the South Dakota breweries.
Yes, that'd be
she's
good
bought
too.
before. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh man, what did I? Oh, okay. I was like, what does this mean? I wrote a note and I didn't put enough information. Peter Fuller, he owned or was the trainer for a horse named Dancer's Image.
Okay.
And this horse,
a racehorse.
yeah, and this
Okay.
horse won the Kentucky Derby. I think it was in '66 or '68.
Okay.
And the prize back then was $5,000.
That's a lot of money back then.
3 days later, they said, hey, guess what? your horse has this drug in its bloodstream and you cannot have the prize. We're taking it back.
Okay.
And somebody else won the race.
Okay.
And the conspiracy theory around that is he was a big fan of Martin Luther King. He was a big proponent. He was a progressive thinker and was very free to espouse those beliefs back in that time frame.
Sure.
And the people in charge did not like that. He did not, and so they basically staged this blood test to say that he did not win, and so he wouldn't have that soapbox to talk about. Because back then, in the 60s, even into the 80s, really, horse racing was a major thing. Kind of like boxing. Was something that had happened in the United States for like 100 years. So that actually meant something back then.
Like everybody knew, like at one point, everybody knew who the world champion was in boxing, who's the heavyweight world champion, right? And then who won the Kentucky Derby. Like for the longest time, that's true. Now I don't even.
Now it's kind of watered down, and to the fact where like boxing isn't really happening anymore too much. We only know about it because of Crawford being from Omaha.
True.
If that wasn't happening, we would probably not know anything.
I don't think
boxing.
we would. No, not at all.
So I thought that one was interesting. Enoch Lincoln. He was Maine's, I think, 6th governor. He was a poet and a lawmaker, and he decided where the capital of Maine was going to be, like the actual building and stuff. Okay. And then he died like 2 years into office, and they put his body into the tomb.
Yeah.
And in 1991, the government went in. They were going to clean it out, like power wash and do all that sort of stuff, So they went inside. Dude's body wasn't in there.
Oh.
They have never found it. Oh. And some people are saying maybe he didn't die back then and just didn't want to be in charge of the state anymore, so he left.
Like about halfway through, he's like, "Nah, I don't want to do this anymore."
Yeah, this is cramping my poet style.
Right. I'm gonna go to
peace. I'm going to New Hampshire.
Sure.
Because in the 1780s, you could probably do that pretty easily or whatever.
Sure. Just disappear.
So that was that one.
Weird.
Let me see. I think I have 2 more left. I tried to pick some weird ones. This one was interesting, and this one seems to be true, too.
Okay.
The facts are true, and then there's the theory about why. I don't know. But there's a place in North Dakota called the Stanley R. Michelson Safeguard Complex. It's kind of like SAC a little bit.
Okay.
It was built to detect incoming missiles.
Okay.
So this is in the middle, kind of in the middle of the Cold War, 75. So we are concerned that we're going to get hit. Right, and that's I think why our thing is here.
Absolutely.
The problem with this building is it cost about $500 million to make it.
Ooh.
One of the main buildings, it looks like a pyramid that's not finished. So it has a square on the top and not a point, which looks like it's on the back of the dollar. And it opened on 10/1, so October 1st, 75, and it closed on October 2nd, 1975, because Congress was like, this costs a lot of money. We don't need to run this. Why are we doing this in North Dakota? No. So they closed it.
Really?
And it just sits there. And the theory is the people, that's where the Illuminati hang out.
That's where they're at.
Because the building looks like the one on the back of the dollar, and that's another sign of the Illuminati.
I guess,
So that's where that fuels that fire, I guess. And speaking of fueling the fire, this is the last one. Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
1962. Picture it. There's a doorbell.
Yeah. Come in.
Let them in.
Yep. Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Yes. It's in some coal mining area.
Okay.
In 1962, they have a landfill, and it's getting full.
Yep.
They're running out of space. What do? They light all the trash on fire.
Oh.
That's how you get rid of it.
Sure. Burn it.
It burns. But then the fire gets out of control. It spreads a little farther than they want it to. And then somehow it gets underground.
The fire gets underground.
Yeah, and it lights the coal mine on fire.
Okay.
And that's in 1962.
Yep.
That fire is still burning today. And that's for real.
I don't believe you.
That is 100% for real. It is still on fire because there's so much coal.
Okay.
It's still burning. 50 years later, it's still on fire. They had to move the whole town. Because underneath the town was on fire. So it's been like, some of it's been paved over, but you can't live there. It's on fire.
Sure.
And the theory is, because it was estimated back then to be like $400 million worth of coal.
Yeah.
Now they're saying it was like a couple $1 billion worth now.
Jeez.
That it isn't on fire, or wasn't to that extent, and they wanted to take that out, the government, instead of having actual mining companies and whatnot do it and make profit. The government came in and said, you know what, we need this. We need this coal. We take it.
So it's just on fire.
Yeah, you can't live here anymore because the town's on fire.
Yeah.
So that caps my top 20
Interesting.
conspiracy theories. So what didn't I hit you with that you thought would be on there?
Yeah, you stayed away from the more political ones, maybe the more touchy ones.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Recent history, which
If
is
we were
totally
off
fine.
mic, I would have had those on the list.
Which is completely fine. Some of these were more fun than others. I love it how it's always the government. It's always the man, right?
Can't trust the government, man.
Always the man.
Yeah. You're scared of what you don't know about, I guess.
That's exactly right. If you don't understand it, it's generally you're scared of it.
And I didn't put any of the UFO ones, really. There were some
Besides Area 51.
Bigfoot ones, stuff like that.
Okay, so do you believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah?
Crypto, zoology.
Yeah?
Do I believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
It's a loaded question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
How's
Sammy,
that?
do you believe in Bigfoot?
She
No,
said
she does not. Okay, so my wife will argue with me on this, but me, Jenny, and Maddox were hiking in Rocky Mountain National Park, where just outside of Estes Park, where we like to go often, where there reportedly have been some sightings of Bigfoot, Yeti,
Okay.
whatever,
Sasquatch. Yeah.
Sasquatch, whatever. I heard one.
Yeah.
100%. Like, this is not a sound you would hear in nature normally. We call it the spooky trail. I'll never hike the spooky trail again.
Yeah.
It was scary, like all these weird dead trees, and it was kind of spooky anyway. Anyway, if you've ever watched the Bigfoot shows, like they make the knocking sound,
Yeah,
where they
tree knock,
take the wood and they just one knock. I heard that, and there was nobody else there. It was towards dusk. We probably shouldn't have been hiking. We weren't prepared. We were just going to hike down, hike back, or whatever.
Yeah.
And as we're going through, just as clear as day, I heard wood on wood, one knock, just bam. And Jenny's like, no, that's a branch falling out of a tree. I'm like, there would have been more. It would have been like bam, bam, bam. Right? It would have crashed down. This is one wood on wood knock.
It sounded like it was on purpose.
Definitely on purpose.
Yeah. I think I believe in the idea of it. Like the United States for sure, and especially some of those remote areas, like haven't been totally explored, right?
Right.
And there's things in our fossil record that look kind of similar to what people say they see.
Yep.
I mean, some of the people that make these claims, same with UFO stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I get some of them are probably not all there, right?
They're
But then
interesting characters,
some, There were some, like I was reading a little story, and when I was doing the research for this, there was a UFO sighting in Virginia in the 70s, and it was like 10 police officers saw it. And it always kind of makes me, I don't know, I feel different ways about that, but they always feel like that's a good witness. A police officer is a good witness.
You would think so.
Because they're trained to, take note of stuff quickly. Like, they have to be able to do that. So, I don't know. I mean, there's people like that make claims. There's people that are out there looking for them all the time, and people always say, well, how come they've never found a body? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Or bones. Yeah. But if you're actually in the forest and stuff dies and decomps so fast, especially if they're in a place where you can't really get to,
right?
I don't think you'd find much. But
no, I don't think so either.
I don't know. It definitely doesn't hurt my feelings to believe in it or not. But, I think it's kind of cool to think about it.
Much like the you didn't touch on the World War II, like the fighter pilots that would see the UFOs. Like they have documented evidence. I mean, you call it evidence of pilots are like, hey, I'm seeing this, I'm following this, it's moving erratically, whatever.
I've never seen this before.
We don't have this technology. What is this or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those enough of those stories happen.
The movie The Fourth Kind.
Oh, The Fourth Kind. Did you see that?
I don't know.
In Alaska, and it's like based off a true story.
Yes, and so it's kind of it looks like it's made to be like a documentary kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
It's scary.
I've always we're topic adjacent right now. Okay, so like some people love like horror movies and scary movies and ghost stories. Like I love ghost stories. Right. The thing that scares me, alien stories.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I feel like if anything's possible. I feel like it would be dumb for us to think we're the only ones in this entire universe, right?
Absolutely.
And so I always think like That's probably the most likely thing. Something else is out there.
So
right?
aliens scare you more than a poltergeist,
For
necessarily.
sure.
Really?
For sure.
No, I'm scared of ghosts.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's because, I don't know why. I remember seeing a movie called A Fire in the Sky
Yes.
as a kid. Me and my friend Daryl went to see it in the theater. Mm-hmm. And it's about alien abduction case, the most credible one that has ever been reported.
Right.
As far as I understand, is if you want to believe that,
If
right?
you want to believe that, yes.
So it's like 8 people saw it at one time, and this guy gets abducted.
Yeah.
And then he shows up a couple days later, and he's all messed up.
and he's all screwed up.
And there's a scene in that movie, spoilers from a 1989 alien movie, where they're putting a needle in his eye.
No.
And I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh my God, no. And then there was like a Mila Jovovich movie about aliens.
Species?
No. Is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Mila? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It was it was kind of around the time of, there was a movie, Kevin Bacon had one, and then I think Randy Quaid? One of the Quaid guys had one. Was like ghosts talking through radio signals, like static and white noise. It was around that same time frame.
Okay.
Paranormal Activity had just come out.
Yeah.
But there was a movie like that, but it was about aliens. Like this lady who was a hypnotherapist, and people were talking about being abducted.
Okay.
And giving their stories, and so they would be like walking her through it or whatever, and it looked a lot like a Paranormal Activity movie. And I was like, no, I can't watch that. I want to now, but I would be scared to watch it. I think.
That sounds a lot like the fourth kind.
Kind of. Yeah.
Could be.
That could be one. Yeah.
Might be it.
Yeah. Ooh. Man,
No
no.
thanks.
So, see, I'd take aliens over ghosts any day. I don't know. There's some weird. No.
After the mics are off, I have an idea for us to talk about.
Sweet.
So
All right, good.
it's related to that. But here's this related to this. I really like this beer.
I did too. I love it that because of the name of one of their other beers, we got to talk about this. Like,
Yeah.
I think we go back to, like, if we were just sitting around drinking beers, what would we talk about? This is what we would talk about. You'd be like, hey, come over and this weekend we're gonna drink this beer called Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
And then we sit in your driveway and you talk about conspiracy
Or
theories.
if you're at the bar, like,
Yep.
like I remember as a kid going with my grandpa on Saturdays. He would go play cards, and I would go hang out, right? And I have a cell phone. There was no TV on in there. Like,
Yep.
So this is how you like pass the time. You tell stories and talk.
Yep.
And that was what I was trying to get to today. I really like the color blue on this.
It's a nice.
How would you describe that? Is that the same? Is that the color of the Texas bluebonnet flower? I'm guessing because there's one on the can.
That's way deeper than I was gonna go. Just like baby blue, like I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just like it. It stands out very nice. I like their detail on the can and the font and the color choices.
Good,
Very nice.
clean pilsner. Like I could drink a lot of those. Okay, so Untapped, 2,330 reviews. So
That's a lot.
yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Give me your guess on the rating.
Boy, it's Pilsner.
I think you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the way you said yeah, that's made it sound negative. Yeah. So I'm going to say people rated this a 3.28.
3.53.
Oh.
So I don't know. I expected it to be higher.
I could see it. I mean, for me, I'm going to rank it higher than that.
Yeah.
But that's usually about where I start on Untapped.
3.5.
That's like if it's drinkable,
Okay.
and I would consider having it again, it's a 3.5.
Okay.
That's my baseline. I'm not one of those guys that's it's a 1.
I've given a 1 before.
I have too, and it's been real terrible.
Eh.
I was talking to somebody the other day. I have never done a drain pour. I've never poured a beer out in my life. Oh. Never.
I have.
I even had one that we knew was sour and on purpose bad. It was bad. Like the brewery said, this is bad.
You should not drink this.
Give it back to us and we'll give you money.
Yeah.
And we drank it
I mean,
anyway.
like,
We
no,
knew it
it's-
before we opened it.
Why did you do that?
Just to say that we did.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I don't even know where to go after that.
Yeah.
Brian, don't drink this. Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
You
Why?
don't tell me what to do. That's right. Brewery who made this
Yeah. Who's going to give us a better beer
and
instead?
knows it's infected and will give us our money back with no questions.
No thanks. I'll eat this rancid
That's right.
meat. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Brian, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.